In 1633, the Catholic Church forced him to kneel before a panel of inquisitors and recant everything he had observed through his telescope. He said the Earth moved around the sun. They said he was wrong. They said he was dangerous. Today, the Vatican runs one of the oldest astronomical research institutions in the world. His name was Galileo Galilei, and we brought him back. Galileo Galilei was born in Pisa in 1564, the same year Michelangelo died and Shakespeare was born. He grew up in a world where the Catholic Church's authority over knowledge was nearly absolute, and where the accepted model of the universe placed the Earth at the center of everything. Galileo did not invent the telescope, but he was the first to systematically turn it toward the sky and record what he found. What he found was astonishing. The moon had mountains and craters. It was not the perfect, smooth sphere that church doctrine required heavenly bodies to be. Jupiter had 4 moons orbiting it, which meant not everything in the universe orbited the Earth. Venus had phases like the moon, which could only be explained if Venus orbited the sun. He published his findings. He was celebrated, then attacked, then summoned. In 1633, at the age of 68, Galileo was tried by the Inquisition for suspicion of heresy. He was shown the instruments of torture. He recanted. He was sentenced to house arrest for the remaining years of his life. He continued working. He went blind. He dictated his final work from memory. He died in 1642, still under house arrest. In 1992, 350 years after his death, Pope John Paul II formally acknowledged that the Church had been wrong to condemn him. Now imagine bringing Galileo back, not the young professor who first turned his telescope to the sky, but the old man, blind and confined, who still knew exactly what he had seen. Bring him to the Vatican Observatory at Castel Gandolfo, the Pope's summer residence outside Rome, where the Church operates one of the oldest continuously running astronomical observatories in the world. What does he see? Jesuit astronomers. Telescopes pointed at the same sky he observed. Computers processing data from observatories the Vatican now operates in Arizona. A staff of scientists who are also priests, studying the universe in the name of the same institution that once confined him to his house for doing exactly that. On the wall, a portrait of Galileo. His name everywhere.
I have had a long time to think about what happened. I do not think they were simply stupid. That would be too easy. The Church contained brilliant men. I knew many of them personally. What they were was afraid. Not of me, of what I represented. If the Earth moves, then the Earth is not the center. If the Earth is not the center, then perhaps man is not the center. And if man is not the center of God's creation, then a great many things built on that assumption begin to tremble. I understand the fear. I felt it myself when I first saw Jupiter's moons. The universe was suddenly larger than I had been taught. That is not a comfortable feeling, but the moons were there. I could not unsee them. And now they have a telescope, in my name, run by the very institution that made me kneel and say that what I had seen was not true. I find I am moved by this in a way I did not expect. Not because they apologized. They apologized 350 years after they had killed Giordano Bruno for saying the same things. The timing of the apology is not what moves me. What moves me is the telescope itself. They kept looking. Even after everything that happened, the politics, the fear, the trials, the curiosity survived. Priests are still pointing instruments at the sky and writing down what they find. That is what science is, the curiosity that survives everything else. I spent the last years of my life blind, under arrest, dictating work by memory, in a darkened room. And the sky is still there, and people are still looking at it. I think that is enough.
Galileo Galilei died in 1642 under house arrest. He was initially buried without ceremony. The church prohibited a public monument. In 1737, his remains were moved to Santa Croce in Florence, where he was given a full tomb beside Michelangelo. In 1992, Pope John Paul II issued a formal acknowledgement that the Inquisition had erred in condemning Galileo. The Vatican Observatory, founded in 1891, is one of the oldest astronomical institutions in the world. It operates telescopes in Italy and Arizona and publishes peer-reviewed research. A portrait of Galileo hangs inside. They made history. Now, they face it. This has been Returned from History. New episodes every week. Subscribe so you never miss a return. Every place you walk through has a story. The harbor where someone fled for their life. The street where an idea changed the world. The building where history turned on a single decision. Most people walk right past them. Lore changes that. Lore is the app that finds the stories of wherever you are and brings them to you in real time. History, mystery, food, culture. The stories that made this place what it is today.